Hosted by you/throw it away. I'm 19M, and my brother is 21. He's my only sibling. I realized I was gay from a young age and came out at 14. My parents were supportive from the start, but my brother absolutely wasn't. He tried to tell me I wasn't gay or that I was just trying to get attention and attempted to make me change my mind. When that failed, he called me a freak, said I was diseased, and told me I was going to hell, even though we aren't that religious. He made it clear he didn't want a relationship with me. He outed me at school, though my friends already knew, and tried to get others to join in, but no one really cared, so nothing much changed. Needless to say, I vowed to limit contact with him as much as possible, but the comments continued until he moved out when he turned 18 for school. I've since gotten into a great school and completed a year and a half. I'm in a relationship, my grades are the best they've ever been, and everything seems to have fallen nicely into place. My brother sent me a Facebook message back in August. He started by apologizing for how he'd treated me, saying he was depressed before, stuck inside his own head, and fell into the wrong crowd online that reinforced his bitterness toward others. He said he'd gotten treatment for his depression, feels more confident than he has in years, and is on the upswing. He wanted to meet up to repair our relationship. He said he was proud of me for being gay, supported me, and apologized for taking so long to make it known. I didn't respond. Nor did I respond to his happy birthday message in September. Then he started texting me, saying he understands if I'm still hurt but that he'd love nothing more than to make up for the pain he caused. I haven't responded to these either. Here's where my boyfriend says I'm wrong. Over the holidays, we were all back at my parents' house. I had a great time seeing my family, except for him. Each time he'd ask about me or try to talk to me, I'd give him one-word answers or clam up. He offered to get me a game as a gift, but I declined. He pulled me aside to apologize face-to-face, reiterating the things he'd said before, but I cut that short and walked away. Meanwhile, I talked with my parents like normal and was very open with them about the happenings of my life, typically within earshot of him. The day we left, I said my goodbyes and found him by my car crying. He said he understands why I'm closed off to him, regrets how things turned out, wished me well, and went inside. I told my boyfriend about this when I got back, and he's pissed and called me the jerk. He says it's clear my brother feels bad about how he used to be and has changed, and that throwing it all back in his face is a crap move. My parents agree and say my brother's a good person, but they ultimately feel it's up to us. Personally, I've gotten so used to the idea of not having a brother that I don't know if there's anything left to salvage. He made his choice to sabotage me then. Is it really my problem that he regrets his actions now? Edit. So my boyfriend just texted me and said that how I handled this has him questioning things, and he thinks we should take a step back for a while. So that's cool. Commenter. Of course, you don't have to forgive your brother just because he's asked for forgiveness, and forgiving him doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with him just because he wants one. But not knowing if there's anything to salvage is different from being sure you want nothing to do with him. At the very least, you might want to consider explaining to him why this isn't something he can easily make up for, and see how he responds so you can decide whether you're really done with him or not. Ops response. The worst part is, I actually think I want to forgive him. But every time I go down that path, I'm left thinking about all that could have been if he hadn't been a jerk in the first place. It makes me resentful, knowing that any relationship we build now will be inferior to the one we had when we were kids. And honestly, that feels worse than acting like I don't have a brother at all, to be honest. Update 3 months later. So it's been a few months since my first post, and since a few people were asking, I thought I owed you an update. I would have provided one sooner, but this is a throwaway, and I had logged out earlier. The fact I remember the password is itself a miracle. A little after my last post, I texted him, letting him know that I appreciated his words but that his actions had really hurt me and that I needed time. He texted back that he understood and to take as much time as I needed. He also thanked me for reaching back out to him. I spent a lot of January and February in self-reflection, trying to figure out what I wanted. A lot of people in the last post said I needed therapy, and I agree that I likely did. I never ended up seeing a professional, but I got really into some guided meditation and calming exercises I found on YouTube. Making a habit of it helped me realize how much weight I was carrying and has helped me start to let that weight go. I still have a ways to go, but I can feel my empathy growing, and I like that. I went home for spring break and saw my brother for the first time since Christmas. Long story short, we spent a lot of time hanging out, and our relationship is recovering. We've had some hard conversations, cried, shared a couple of joints, etc., and I came away from the break feeling much better about everything. Since both of our schools have closed down due to the pandemic, we're both at home, doing our classes remotely, and hanging out during our downtime. I want to thank those of you who said I'd probably regret cutting him out because I can tell you were right. My brother isn't perfect and did many things to purposely hurt me, but people can change if they want to, and he did. I wouldn't want to be judged by my lowest point, and I'm working on not judging him by his. I finally have my brother back, and forgiving him has helped me feel better in ways I didn't realize I needed. Thank you. Edit. Holy cow, I step away from this to do homework for a couple of hours and you all gave me a bunch of awards? Thank you so much. To answer some common questions, no, my boyfriend from the original post and I are no longer together, but for reasons unrelated to the original post. We just wanted different things and were at different stages of our lives, but it was a parting with minimal hard feelings. I don't consider his reaction to be manipulative. It wasn't a hard do this or we're through. Why did my brother do it? There's no one reason. He was in a dark place and dealing with a lot of issues in a bad way. He was ignorant about a lot of LGBT stuff and relied on that ignorance when it came to me. It took a while, and going off to college and meeting new people, for him to start questioning a lot of what he believed. Since getting help for his unresolved issues, it was a step-by-step process until he saw how wrong he was. He said he didn't even realize how hurtful he was being a lot of the time because he was so in his own head and had some really bad influences on the internet reinforcing his mindset. I can understand that, and I love how far he's come. Why didn't our parents intervene even though they always had my back? They did a lot of the time, but most of what my brother said or did wasn't in their presence, and I wasn't the type to go running to them every time I was the victim of something. They are good people, and I hold no animosity toward them for what they might have done differently. I'm thinking about showing my brother this in the previous thread so he can better understand how I felt about all of this. I might update later on how that goes. Also, I just want to say to others out there who feel they've been repeatedly wronged by someone to the point of wanting to cut them off, I know exactly how you feel. But the fact is, people can change if they want to. And even if they do, you're under no obligation to welcome them back into your life. But if you can find it in your heart, I'd strongly encourage you to give them a fair shot at doing so. People do messed up things, sometimes many times or for many years, before they realize it and feel remorse. We're all only human. Commenter. It's hard for me to find a reason to forgive family that purposely hurts family. Strangers I can understand, but family is the core of trust. Breaking that trust usually causes a domino effect that outperforms the original behavior. I don't plan on ever forgiving my brothers. It's a trap. Ops response. I understand where you're coming from. Consider this, if you would, there's much more reason to forgive a family member than a stranger, in my opinion. Injury from family hurts far more than an injury from someone you barely know. Like you said, family is supposed to be the bedrock of trust, and breaking it can cause a lot of subsequent harm. While your birth family is who you're stuck with by virtue of being alive, they're by no means your real family. You choose who that is. I'm fortunate enough that the family I've chosen is also the one I was born into, but many aren't so lucky. The fact is that humans can be jerks, idiots, and selfish to the point of hurting those around them, sometimes on purpose and sometimes without even realizing it. But even if you choose your own family, the one you're born into knows you very well. You have memories no one else has, and you've shared experiences no one else has. Even if you've cut them off for good reason, holding on to hate toward them or wishing them misfortune will have a corrosive effect on your own well-being. Not forgiving a stranger isn't the same. The hate is just as corrosive, but it's much less relevant to you as a person and much less intimate than the hate you hold for a family member. Being angry at a stranger is like holding a red-hot screw. Being angry at a family member is like having that screw between your heart and your lungs. You don't need to have a relationship with anyone if you don't want to, not even your birth family. You don't need to make people feel better if you think they don't deserve it. But I urge you to look at the baggage you carry inside, baggage that may have been thrust upon you through no fault or choice of your own, and slowly allow yourself to set it down. Forgiveness isn't about saying everything is okay or back to how it was. It's about allowing yourself to heal from the damage others caused and leaving it in the past. It's a very intimate experience, but it can be a scary thing to even try. Still, I encourage you to take that chance if you can. You owe it to yourself, and who knows what might come from it.